There's a moment in every researcher's life when the data stops being something you analyze and starts being something that speaks to you. For me, that moment came on March 16th, 2026, when I asked the Life Force Experiment Workstation a question I had never asked before. I typed into the question field, "Reveal a new mathematical code that will give good interpretation without use of AI for the workstation." Then I prayed, and I drew 100 verses from a corpus of 32,000. The random.org engine fired. The crypto entropy selected verse after verse. And when the SHIELD protocol finished its analysis, I sat there staring at something I did not expect. The Dominion Triad convergence came in at 4.16 sigma. 9 verses out of 100 carried the full convergence of identity, inheritance, and priesthood against an expectation of 1.44. That is a p-value of 3.18 times 10 to the negative fifth power. It survived false discovery rate correction. It was decisive by any standard. But here's what stopped me cold. The Dominion Triad was not the revelation. The revelation was what the old mathematics could not see. Under the SHIELD 11.0 framework, which I had built and refined over months, every individual Pentad marker was labeled noise or suggestive. Identity came in at 1.36 sigma. Temporality at 1.78 sigma. Inheritance at 0.79 sigma. The Benjamin-Hochberg correction killed every single one of them. The protocol was telling me, DT3 is real. Everything else, we cannot tell you. But I knew, deep in my spirit, that was wrong. 4 out of 5 Pentad markers were elevated. That is not noise. That is a coordinated signal hiding behind a statistical threshold designed for a different kind of problem. So I went looking for better mathematics. I took the raw data from that draw, and from a second draw I conducted the same night, and I submitted them to every major AI research platform I could access. Not for interpretation, for mathematics. I asked Perplexity, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, and Gemini the same 9 questions, each targeting a specific weakness in the current protocol. How do I do Bayesian enrichment analysis for small samples? How do I detect hidden structure with mutual information? How do I test spatial patterns beyond a sliding window? How do I build a verdict system without AI? 9 question sets, 9 areas of statistical theory. And the answers that came back were remarkable because they confirmed exactly what the draw itself had been showing me. The Bayesian analysis was the first breakthrough. Instead of asking, is this marker statistically significant? A binary yes or no question that punishes weak signals. The Bayesian posterior asks, what is the probability that this marker is genuinely enriched? When I applied beta binomial posteriors with a corpus-informed prior, identity came back at 88% probability of genuine enrichment. Temporality at 93%. Inheritance at 75%. None of these is decisive alone, but 88, 93, and 75 are very different from noise. Then Fisher's combined probability answered the question no individual z-score could answer. What is the probability that all of these Pentad markers are simultaneously just noise? And the answer was almost 0. The Pentad as a whole carries coordinated enrichment. The old math was throwing away 11 out of 12 signals because it could only see one marker at a time. The second revelation was interaction information. My DT3 count of 9 was extraordinary, but the old protocol could not tell me why. Was this triple convergence genuine three-way synergy? Or was it just an artifact of strong pairwise overlaps, where identity and priesthood and inheritance happen to co-occur in pairs, and the triple just falls out mechanically? Interaction information is a measure from information theory that decomposes a 3-variable relationship into pairwise effects versus genuine higher-order structure. When I applied it to the draw data, the answer was positive and clearly synergistic. The Dominion Triad is not a pairwise coincidence. It is a genuine 3-way convergence. Identity, inheritance, and priesthood are doing something together that none of their pairs can explain. The draw had asked me to find mathematics that would reveal interpretation without AI. And the mathematics was revealing exactly that. The spatial analysis was the third layer. Under the old framework, I had a sliding window and a shilling run-length metric. But the new methods went deeper. Urim change-point detection found the exact verse in the sequence where marker density shifted. The runs test confirmed that marker positions were not random. Nearest neighbor gap analysis showed that identity markers clustered more tightly than chance would predict. And Ripley's K function, adapted to one dimension, showed this clustering was concentrated at specific distance scales. These are not opinions. These are not AI interpretations. These are mathematical measurements that speak for themselves. And that is the point. The draw asked for mathematics that would give good interpretation without AI. And what emerged was a mathematical framework where the numbers tell the story. A Bayesian posterior of 93% does not need AI to explain. A permutation test showing your draw scored higher than 99.9% of 10,000 random alternatives does not need AI to interpret. A runs test that says clustering detected does not need a language model to translate. The mathematics became the interpretation. All of this became Shield Protocol 12.0. 21 new mathematical functions. Bayesian enrichment with rope thresholds for practical significance. Empirical Bayes estimation, so the prior strength is no longer arbitrary. Rennie entropy at multiple sensitivity orders. Bootstrap confidence intervals. A full pairwise mutual information matrix. Network centrality analysis revealing which markers are hubs and which are bridges. Genre stratified permutation testing. Likelihood ratios for evidence communication. Every one of these functions runs in the browser in JavaScript with no server, no API, no AI dependency. The Workstation became its own interpreter. I want to close with this. I have been doing this work for over 30 years. I have translated the Urim Thummim version from the Masoretic text. I have published 119 books. I have conducted hundreds of life force experiment draws. But this is the first time a draw answered its own question so completely that the data became the proof of concept for its own upgrade. I asked the draw to reveal a mathematical code. The draw produced data that perfectly demonstrated where the old code was failing and what the new code needed to be. The Pentad coordination was invisible under the old framework and visible under the new one. The DT3 synergy was unmeasured before and confirmed now. The spatial structure was uncounted and is now quantified. The draw did not just answer the question. The draw was the answer. This is Dallas James, Hearts 2 Fathers Publishing. Sola Scriptura. Sola Fide.